look at this tired old blanket box that I found on the side of the road. I could not resist picking it up. I was so excited. Because this was layered and layered and layered in chalk paint, I've had to use stripper on the top. I'm using Digger's stripper and I'm covering it with Glad wrap just to keep the heat in so that the stripper works nice and easily. And as you can see, it is layered on. I've got my carbide scraper here trying to get some of this chalk paint off the sides of the unit. It's not going to all come off, it is quite thick, but at least it's coming off a little bit easier on the sides. Here I've got the detail sander. It's just an Azito detail sander. You don't need the best of the best to get the job done. This works great for me and they're really quite cheap. So it's a great little way to sand areas with sharp edges. I thought it was wise to actually take the doors off the front of this unit and they gave me hell, absolute hell. All the screws were ground out and I could not do anything with them, but we got them there finally and got the little warped hinges off. Now I'm back on the detail sander again, try and get a little bit more of this chalk paint off the cupboards. It came off actually quite well once I'd used the scraper, so this was quite easily, but as you can see, it was an old piece, so the wood was just old. It really needed to be brought back to life, but we're getting it there. We are getting it there slowly. Just remember, if you need a new sanding pad, get a new sanding pad, don't be skimpy. You can't skimp on a sanding pad. You're either going to ruin your detail sander or your job is going to take 5 hours longer than it needs to. And now it's time for our first round of primer. Now I'm using the Taubman's 3-in-1 primer. I pretty much use this for most of my projects because I love it. I think it holds up fantastically and I've never had a problem with bleed through. It's great. I highly recommend it to everyone. So yeah, check it out, Taubman's 3-in-1 primer. How much better is that looking? And it's only an undercoat. It looks fantastic. I cannot wait to get some colour on this. This was the best that we were getting off the side here. Like I said, this chalk paint was chalked on something chronic. So we got it as smooth as we could, and as you can see, the primer's going over it perfectly. There's no flakes in it. I got off as much as I could, and I'm happy with it, but look at the new coat of primer on top of it. It's just going to look sensational. Sides are all primed, inside's primed, and now we're going to the top of the unit. I'm using my Wagner spray gun. It is the best purchase I've ever made. Just giving it a quick sand after the prime with a 320 grit sandpaper pad and a quick wipe down just to get rid of all those dust particles before we paint. And here we go! This is like my favourite part of the whole process. I love spray painting. We're using our Wagner here and I am painting it a beautiful sage green. It is absolutely stunning. When you're using your paint sprayer, just remember there's different directions that you can have your nozzle in, but always remember to go over about 30% of your previous line just to get good solid coverage in your colours. Your first coat's never going to be perfect, and in all honesty, you're going to do a second, potentially a third coat anyway, so always make sure you overlap by 30% and you get a pretty good coverage first time round. You can see how beautifully that colour's going on over that Taubman's primer. It's just perfect. I've got a beautiful base coat and now the colour is smooth and crisp. You're always going to want to do 2 or 3 coats of your main colour, purely for protection, because the last thing you want to do is have something be scratched and the primer shows through. So you do want to have at least 2 coats on every single piece. Some may require 3, some even more, but 2 is your minimum. Now we're getting to the fun part. As you can see, I'm using bolt cutters. My partner bought me these. They are sensational for when you need to cut screws down for a specific type of handle or hole that you need to put the screw into. Needs a little bit of muscle, but if I can do it, anyone can do it. We've chosen beautiful teardrop handles for this blanket box, so I'm really excited to see the finished product with these on. I think they'll look fantastic. Now these bolt cutters, we just got them from Bunnings, for those of you who are in Australia. They are really affordable and they're great to have around the house when you're doing DIY projects. Just adding one last top coat of Bondel Monocel Clear Water-Based Varnish in Satin to this project. This is pretty much the only top coat I use. I think it's fantastic. I always do at least 2 coats depending on the project for that added protection. Woo! Now to start the fun part. We're building a base. This beautiful blanket box is going to have a gorgeous base. At the moment it's currently got these awful wheels on it that are all old and rusted, so they're coming off and we are building a base. So as you can see, I'm measuring. And now I'm cutting with my miter saw. These tools are so easy to use, so please don't be scared about them. They are pretty self-explanatory. Keep your fingers away, keep your eye on the prize, get the job done, and you're good to go. Now I'm cutting the legs of the base. So obviously we need 4 legs, 2 front, 2 back, and we're going to put a little bit of an angle on the front, about 15-degree angle, just to add a little bit of dimension to the front of the base. Now it's time for pocket holes. Pocket holes are a great way to discreetly hide your joins in bases. I'm using the mini Craig jig. It's fantastic. Allows you to do just single holes. It's so compact and easy to use. No questions asked. I highly recommend it. Comes with the drill bit. So pretty much all you do is clamp it down onto your wood where you want it to do. You add in your guide onto your drill bit and Bob's your uncle. And now it's time to put it all together. As you can see, I've got everything held together with a clamp, just so you can get the screws in easily and not have everything move on you in the process. So clamp it all together and everything will be fine. Let's get that clamp off and voila! There's our first side. Looks pretty good if you ask me. Now for the second side, same thing. Clamp it so it holds it all together. Pop your screws in your pocket holes and job's done. It's always good to give your base a sand, obviously before you stain it or paint it or whatever you're choosing to do with it. It roughs it up, but at the same time, it smooths it out. This is brand new wood, so you want to give it a little bit of texture, a little bit of rough up before you go to adding any stain or paint to it. Now, do you remember this tired old blanket box before I got to it? Look at what we have now. It is stunning. That walnut base is beautiful. It adds the perfect finish to this project. Our teardrop handles with a little bit of detail on them, perfect once again. They tie in with the colours of the base. But look at that finish. Wagner, your spray guns, sensational. Could not be more happier with this project if I tried. Please guys, like and subscribe and help me create the looks that you love. Thanks for watching.